Hello, my beautiful Sagittarius family, and welcome to our September 2021 reading. I'm just going to take a breath and enjoy sitting here with my family. I'm feeling a little sensitive in general, and I'm just going through an interesting season of my life of change and shift and letting go and opening up. And so there are just days when I feel so sensitive, and today is one of those days, but I need to show up and have this chat with you all because September is a beautiful month, and in so many ways a month that will help all of us, regardless of what sign you associate with, to calibrate, to understand how we have grown, to find healing, to find solace in what has changed, and to open up our minds and our thoughts to new beginnings. And I think that's especially true for Sagittarius. We have all this energy moving through Virgo, and this is fellow mutable energy, and it has a lot to do with 10th house, which is all about how you're showing up in this world, kind of your reputation in the world, what you do in the world. And I don't like to get too focused on how people perceive you and what they think of you as in the world, right? But it's really about how we put our feet into the world, where we put our feet down, how we're showing up in the world, where we're taking space, and what we want that to feel and look like. So we have new moon in Virgo, we have the sun moving through Virgo, Mars is going to be moving through Virgo for part of the month, and then we have energy moving into Libra. On the equinox, we're going to have the sun moving to Libra, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde beginning in Libra this month. That'll be fun. We're going to talk about that more. We're also going to have Mars moving into Libra as well. And all this Libran energy is 11th house, which is how you connect to your community and who you are in those communities. So these are big, expansive energies. When we're starting to get closer and closer to Sag season, we're getting closer and closer to the big vision energy. And, it's interesting to me because with the South Node in your sign for the last year and 4 months now at this point, something like that, we're getting really close to the end of the South Node in Sagittarius, so close I can almost taste it. But we're months away. We're a handful of months away, less than that. I'm thinking about how Sages are needing to reopen like a flower and start to really engage again with your natural Saggy energy and the way you dream, the way you envision, the way you fantasize. I've been finding I'm a Sag rising. So whenever I'm having these conversations, they're very personal, even though I do try to keep just a open, relaxed mind and see what comes up. But I've been thinking about how it has felt a little bit like I've had to learn how to use all these other skill sets, right? Focus more on that Gemini skill set and everything. But there's been a little sadness in not having the full scope of my big, vast, expansive, daydreamy self at the forefront. And one thing I would say with this September, with it being the month of the equinox, with it being a time where all these outer planets are retrograde, with Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, Jupiter, they're all retrograde right now, and we're going to have this Mercury retrograde. This is just a beautiful time to really notice how you've grown and changed, what you've learned during South Node in Sagittarius, but also, and I think this is equally important, to focus on what beautiful things you want to craft into the world and how you are almost romancing who you want to embody in what you do in the world and in who you're going to be in your communities. And you may feel far away from some of those things right now. You may feel detached from your community because there's been a pandemic and because things have been changing on a cultural level very, very swiftly. You may feel far away from your dream embodiment of career or work or identity in the world. That's okay. That's okay. We're not here to get concerned with whether or not you have it all perfectly performed. We don't care about that. This is about just allowing yourself to have the fun of connecting with what I call the unimaginable horizon, all those people, places, events that are coming your way, but they're so outside of your field of vision You don't even know how amazing and beautiful it's going to be. Letting yourself go there, letting yourself have the fun of re-romanticizing your Saggy heart, your Saggy presence in the world, having fun with it again. If you've lost heart, if you have felt discouraged, Chariot, commitment energy. If you have felt discouraged, if you felt a little bit not like your truest self at times, if you have felt a little far away, High Priestess, wow. High impact major arcana coming at the Sag family. And, that's okay to have felt discouraged. Ace of Wands. Oh, I'm loving the Sag reading. It's making me very happy. That's okay, but this month is a really nourishing one to get you back into some of your natural ways of dreaming and thinking. And death. All right, we just got a whole bunch of water energy in this reading because Chariot, High Priestess, and Death are all water energies. These are all intuitive, spiritual energies. So I was talking about, reconnecting with the romance of your beauty, of your presence in this life, getting back into your artistic flow, the artistry of life, the artistry of living. And when I see all that water energy, there is an emphasis here. There is an emphasis here on spiritual practice. And, I have found, for me personally, that seems like a really big category, spiritual practice. What I have found is that it's important to find just one or two that work for you. For me, two things that work very well if I use them consistently is 20 minutes meditation a day and then intuitive painting. Those two things, I don't need to be overhauling my life and making my life this spiritual quest. If I do those two things regularly, I'm connected and I can relax and I can see and hear more clearly. So this is a season, and there's a very strong message here with these cards. This is a season to really get devoted to a couple things that really work for you. And really this can look like so many different things depending on what lights you up, what makes you feel connected. But there is a strong emphasis on how you feel inside being what is going to direct the last months of 2021. Let me get a little bit more specific and go through these with you all, my friends. So Chariot. Chariot is big vision energy. It is water energy. It's tied to Cancer energy, which is a cardinal water. So this is very determined energy. It is looking straight ahead at what is meant for you. And this can really, I think, appear often as intuitive hits of like, this is what's meant for me. And it can also appear as deep commitment to something that's really working for you. So this is very empowering. Chariot energy is very empowering, and it is kind of emphasizing a need for you to just decide that you are going to care for your visions of your life, and you are going to care for your spiritual practice so that you can show up fully as your bright, voluminous, playful Sag self. So there's like a kind of seriousness to the Chariot. Now the High Priestess is that deep internal intuition, right? Like the High Priestess is going to be emphasizing that the more you let yourself go to that magical hidden realm and reestablish your connection to it, the hidden order of things, the hidden energy of things, the better. So sometimes it's easy to be like, is that really going to make a difference? I just want to be doing. I just want to be out there. I just want things to be going better. I just want to go. High Priestess is saying, this is the way. The way is to sit with self. The way is to hear spirit. The way is to find ways to be here with me. To be in the calming, loving waters of the High Priestess, right? Now, the Chariot and the High Priestess are all about committing to that beautiful vision of your life, committing to your expansive Jupiterian belief and daydreaminess and positivity and optimism. Honestly, it's saying this is not just the stuff of frivolity, this is the stuff of the soul, this is the stuff of life, and that it's not something that needs to be skipped or undercut or downplayed at all. Now we have this Ace of Wands, so new beginnings. And that's the thing. I think as soon as you let yourself take care of that part of yourself, you let yourself do those practices. It can be a walk. It can be a sound healing. I don't know. Like, there's just so many ways that this can show up for each person. You're going to be getting new beginnings. You're going to be getting answers. You're going to be getting huge influxes of information this month. I feel that even with the Chariot and High Priestess, those are energies that are going to be showing you a lot. And in fact, like Sagittarius, just take care of yourself, because you're going to be getting so much new information and so many new insights about who you're becoming. It could feel like so much expansion. Where to even put all this information? As there are new beginnings afoot here, even as we are entering, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, the darker half of the year, there is this sense of the chapter is just beginning. And once again, there's this tingling sensation I get the more I think about that South Node leaving Sagittarius. I'm going to admit it, I'm excited about that. I feel like, yes, we've learned a lot, right? Like, it's okay to have a different perspective and maybe relax on the Sag energy a little bit, but I miss it. I miss the beauty of Sag energy being more empowered in the world, and I want it back. I want it back so bad. But there is transformation afoot here. You know, death is one of my favorite cards. There is this beautiful sunrise in it, and it is a card of growth. It is a card of letting go as well. And, you know, as so often is the case, it's kind of the rule, right? As we begin a new journey, as we open a new door, as we start a new creative project, new relationship, new living place, new venture, new creative practice, we're leaving something else behind, right? We are no longer doing it just the same way. We're no longer keeping up the same level, you know. We make space for what's next. And there is a deal here that, yes, you have a lot of good things coming your way, Sag, and it is a time to just be connected to spirit and let those beautiful romantic visions of your life and the beauty of this existence come in. And, you know, romantic visions, it doesn't just have to be about romance and love. I mean, it can be helping to create a more peaceful world where people are taken care of, helping to create a more egalitarian world where there is more care for those who need help, right? It can be showing up and bringing calming, loving energy. It can be, I don't know, like each of us is going to have our way of bringing something beautiful to this world. And it's okay, like as we're tapping into that power, as we're tapping into that clarity, as we're tapping into that vision, it does mean, you know, if we have kept just binge watching a show every evening and we realize I probably need to take a step back from that because it's keeping me looped in this like nostalgia from 10 years ago. That's just an example. I'm not judging, believe me. I rewatch Golden Girls more times than I would care to count. So believe me, I don't have any beef with watching a good classic show. But, you know, that's just an example. Where is it that maybe you're feeling like when you keep doing that thing, it's not fitting anymore? This month, and the death card itself is just kind of speaking to that there is a changeover going on. Something is lost and much more is gained, but this is a time, this equinox and everything is a time to kind of clear away the debris from this last year and a half, to make some space and make some room and give some healing to those parts of yourself that may be needed after this last year and a half, and to also really open your heart up to what is next. All this energy is so supportive. It is deeply spiritual though, and it's deeply esoteric. This is all the hidden energies inside of ourselves. And so it's funny because at the beginning of this reading I was talking about 10th and 11th house energy, Virgo and Libra energy for Sag, is all about how you show up in the world and your community and what your reputation is and how you move through the world. And ironically enough, all the messages are pointing to that starts inside, that starts where nobody is witnessing you other than you and the divine. How is your connection to the divine? Are you letting yourself have a connection to the divine? Are you feeling a little bit cynical or jaded or skeptical about your connection with the divine? Is there a need for you to come back to it? I'll admit that like there have been times when I felt very detached from the divine over the last year and a half, going through different stressors with my whole life path right now. It's a crazy time in my life, and in the best way and in the most intense way. And where the inner skeptic has come in and just been wanting to protect me. And honestly, just in allowing myself to even approach my practices again on those days or on that week where I'm really tired and I'm letting that take over, not worrying about what the results are going to be or what it's supposed to do for me, but just taking a breath and letting myself be with the practice is in and of itself powerful. So if you are feeling a bit detached from it or overwhelmed by the thought of getting back into practices, if you happen to be somebody like that, just know that just beginning is power enough. And for those of you who are deep in your practices, this is an affirmation to just like keep enjoying them, keep trusting that in doing that you are actually connecting to a much bigger map. It's not just going to be about sitting and meditating all day. It is connecting you to actual things happening in the world. And this is just a season of shift and transformation for Sages. And I think the rest of 2021 in a way is going to be this kind of conversation about like, okay, yes, you've been this person, you've been these things before, but you're becoming something else now. And the way you show up to that and the way that looks is going to look and feel very different in the coming years. It is. And so this is a really wonderful season of life to get comfortable with that to some extent and get into a flow with that. So there's kind of a stern message, but also one of so much expansion and love. I'm going to be offering a lot of extra support over on my Patreon. We're going to be doing activations, weekly check-ins. We're going to be going through this Mercury retrograde together. I'm going to be creating some worksheets for that so that we can really get comfortable with Mercury retrograde, because so many people fear it and get a little stressed about it. We want to make this a nice time. So I'd love to see you over there. I'll leave my link below. You can find me on my website or my Instagram, so you'll be able to find all my info below. I love you, Sages. Have a gorgeous September. What a powerful spiritual month this is going to be. I'm so looking forward to seeing how it feels for you. Please let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you all very soon.